Did you see actually Gary Neville started a WhatsApp group with other pundits?
Surely they have one of them by now, I would have thought.
This is a super secret task force WhatsApp. Like, can you imagine working for BT and just like seeing you've been added to a group from a number not in your contacts? Like, who the fuck is? And you just click in and see like Gary Neville smugly drinking a glass of wine in his profile picture. Like, oh, what the fuck? Jesus!
Don't rope me into this.
Oh no, my fucking WhatsApp group. It's called like the Leaders Group or some shit. It's like, oh,
the voices of the voiceless.
Man, like an incoming group call, like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, imagine Paul Scholes getting that notification on BT's forums.
I don't want that to do with this shit.
Paul Scholes has left the group immediately.
No one tell Dave Jones.
Yeah. Or like fucking like Steve McMahon when we're talking to like, I don't know, Joe Cole at the BT canteen. Like, man, that fucking WhatsApp group's mad. It was like, what WhatsApp group? Oh, I'm the what? I didn't say WhatsApp group. Yeah, you said there's a WhatsApp group. What WhatsApp group?
Oh man,
just nothing. Just fucking old farts
your
like
phone
me.
Is
and
digging a lot there, Steve.
Jake, I think Jake Humphries called. Jake Humphries is calling me. I gotta go, Joe. I'll talk to you later on, right? Sorry, yeah, call me, mate. Yeah.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. We're back again. I'm here with the bitter Man United fan, Will Byrne. Jealous and sour, he's not top of the league. And once again, folks are complaining about something, who knows. I think they're complaining about that the owners are spending too much money on the club. I'm not sure. I mean, look, if you look at their net spend over the last few years, you might be surprised, folks. No, of course, I'm joking again. I was channeling my inner Graham Souness there.
Yeah. Inner man who knows nothing talking for him.
Yeah, I mean,
why did they keep the camera on him? Why didn't they go like he's talking?
Well, this is and maybe it was time for it to bring back Football Conspiracies episode 2. I'll do it. Yeah, just team music. Football Conspiracies. It's true. This week, I welcome back everybody. Football Conspiracies with Colin Will. This week, inside job from Sky Sports to create a nationwide blackout of journalists and then create a protest and then be the only show in town. I mean, it was unbelievable because, like, usually when something this happens, like, my initial reaction is to go to Twitter and, like, see what journalists said. I was actually watching a Lions game from, like, 2001. And some lad was like, a winger, I didn't know who it was. He was playing shot. Who's this fucking lad? I instinctively went to Twitter to check out who this player was. Like, what? I'm watching the game from 20 years ago. And it was the same thing. It was like, there was, for anyone who doesn't know, there was the blackout for a lot of journalists had gone for a social media blackout this weekend for racism. I think it was started by Henry and some other players were boycotting social media. So I scheduled social media boycotts towards the end of the Premier League season where not much was going to happen, let's be honest. To resulting then when the protest happened, that was like a real old school tragedy type thing where like you watch it on the news. You know what I mean? There's no other news source. Like all the journalists that kind of bought into this, they weren't going to tweet about it. So you're always watching Sky Sports updates, and it was just off the cuff ramblings from the various pundits they had at the show.
From various madmen.
I mean, of course, Gary Neville was up in his shine box, you know, pontificating down.
Would have been handy if he was saying any of these things, you know, over the last 15 years rather than waiting until now. Maybe this wouldn't have got this far.
I think it was you said it on the last episode, or maybe a couple episodes ago, that he was inciting violence. He flagged this game to do. He
Trump did that, and you nearly want him in jail for life.
He encouraged this, like, in no uncertain terms. It's like, listen, Man United Liverpool have a big game coming up. I'm not saying that you should protest. That would be a bad thing to happen. I wouldn't want to see that happen. But I think if it did, it would send a very strong message. That's all I'm saying. And then,
do you think as soon as they got into the stadium, he was like, "Oh fuck, I might be in trouble"?
Oh no!
Did you see Carragher? The clip of Carragher seeing the fans come in for the first time, and he has a very real look of like, they might not like me.
Yeah, he was like, I better find out what's going on very quickly here.
Before they're like, there's that Liverpool good.
Oh no. And Roy made a joke with that as well. He was like, he must have seen that clip as well. Because he was like, oh, they were throwing some cans and stuff here, Roy. Like, yeah, I think they were mostly aimed at Jamie Carragher. Like, Jamie Carragher looked like he was like, oh, fuck, it's happening. I'm in Old Trafford about to be accosted by a group of my United fans.
I've said too much.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was funny. But I mean, the real story was Graham Souness.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was scripted, which I have a suspicion that Sky Sports is scripted, you know, like he played the part of like, I'll play the part to wind up United fans to a T. Like, I mean, he said all the things that you kind of hear from people who aren't really informed on it, to kind of see it from afar.
But he said all of the things. He said all of the things that you see on Twitter that you're like, this is a 14-year-old. This is not a person who knows what they're talking about. He said all those. He hit all those bullet points. Yeah,
it did like come across as kind of a bitterness, kind of a look. We're top league now. Yeah, we're top league now. You know, you don't like it, you can fuck it out. You know, like it was just like his point what he was making was that like, you know, they own the club, so it's their right to do whatever they want with this. I was like,
but that's the point.
Right, to an extent, all right. If it was as cut and dry as that'd be one thing. Then he says, you know, you can't just go and say, I want to buy this club. You have to put something up for collateral to buy it, which is the main issue. That is the main issue. That the
club was the collateral. That's
what people are annoyed about. They've been annoyed about 15 years, and how he doesn't know that's the case, I don't believe. I think he was just like, here we go now. This will really piss them off, because like that is like, I had never heard it. Like, no, I'm not that fucking, you know, up on these kind of things, but like leverage buyout. If I hear the word leverage buyout, I think of Man United. Every does, surely. Exactly. For someone to be a renowned, like, hugely successful player, decently successful manager, pundit for years, and then go, sure, they had to put some up for the club and not know it was a club. Like, there's no way he doesn't know that. I think he was just being a bollocks, because like he was so far off base, but not even far off base. Like, I was watching the match of the day.
They were worse.
That honestly, that wasn't as bad as Graham Souness, because he was just like untethered, like his nonsense knew no bounds. But the match day was much more kind of structured, right? They go to. I know I'm kind of going off track here, but just fucking they're on match day and they go, we're going to show Man United Liverpool, but there's a protest, and then they show this is how it unfolded. Your man Chapper sees as a match day too, and then Alan Shearer and Jermaine Jenas on. So they obviously before they go, all right, boys, we're going to show the clips. Then Alan, we're going to go to you, and then Jermaine, we're going to go to you, and then we're going to bring Andy Mitten. He's going to talk, and then you ask him a question, Alan, and then you ask him a question, Jermaine. I went to Jermaine. You're good at that, Jermaine? He went, yeah, I have loads of questions to ask him. He had nothing. I honestly, I have the clip here because it's fucking so funny. They go to Alan Shearer. They go, all right, Alan, what do you think of that? He goes, yeah, protest good. Violence and break stuff and hurting police officers bad. Fairly standard. You know, I think everybody can agree with that.
Run of the mill.
That's how you should protest, blah, blah, blah. Jermaine, what do you think? And Jermaine literally said, I think it's unfair to ask me because I don't know. Like,
it's your literal job.
He literally says, I'll just play the clip because it's so good. It's like, are you serious? Oh, God, where are we going?
Who, me?
Well, like, it's unfair to ask me. I'm not my United fan.
No, and obviously I'm going to reiterate, Alan's point there. I wouldn't call it a peaceful protest. I think that they overstepped the mark, and I think in doing so, you're kind of clouding the message
that you're trying to put out there as fans. Now, what I would say on the matter is I'm not a Manchester United man. I've not followed the club since I was young. I've not followed the club in terms of a supporter who is inside the football club, or a player that's been at the football club, knows that football club. So I think to ask me, for my opinion on the Glazers, so to speak, is a little bit unfair to an extent, because for me personally, I am searching for those answers, because under a Glazership's reign, they've won trophies, big trophies as well. They've spent a lot of money. So I think from the outside, the questions are, this is a feeling type thing. This is a thing that the fans are feeling against the Glazers in particular. And for me personally, I'm glad we've got Andy here, haven't we, to have a conversation with him.
Well, because...
like, he's literally like... And I think Andy was that. I think Andy was here. Andy was trying to get in there, was he? We have Andy there to save me from this floundering.
I think this is more of a feeling thing.
Like, they definitely said, "All right, we're going to go to you, Jermaine. You just give your opinion on this." Yeah, my opinion on this. Yeah. I would love to have some answers on what's going on, actually, because I have no idea. And look,
I too. Look, I'm not someone who watches football.
To ask me about the Glazers is a bit unfair. It's like, well, look it up. I mean, it's not unfair because we're paying you. I'm not like dragging you up on stage. You there, boy. You come up here. You give your opinion. I don't know. No, you come up here, boy. Like,
this isn't the first time this has ever come up. Like, how does nobody know anything? Did they expect this was never gonna?
Yeah, and that's why I think like the Graham Souness thing. He was kind of put in the spot, and he gave his uninformed opinions, and he had to, right? Jermaine just watches all day. Wait until 10:30 nice. He's told you have to say something you have to fill a minute and a half of your opinion on the Glazers. Like, that's unfair. I don't know what's going on. It's like, we asked you to look it up.
Well, he hit 3 bullet points. First, he said, I'm going to say what Alan Shearer said. And he even said, I'm going to parrot what Shearer said. Yeah. Strong. I'll parrot Alan Shearer. Then he said, good start. I don't really know what I'm talking about. And then he said, actually, it's annoying that you're asking me.
Yeah. Well, you first respect his honesty, and then he goes on the defensive. It's like, oh, no, he's ruined it there.
If it wasn't bad enough for his little segment, he also hit the bullet point of, well, they've spent loads of money and bought things, so I really don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. He explained why he doesn't know what's going on. Now I'm looking in. It looks pretty good to me, but I will admit I don't know what I'm talking about.
From the outside looking in, like a child would.
And then they had Andy Mitten on. And like I say, they had obviously scheduled to, all right, and Andy Mitten's going to explain what's going on. And then Alan, you ask him a question. And then Jermaine, you ask him a question. And what Alan did, I think it wasn't the same kind of dismissive tone as Graham Souness was like, they're just a bunch of wages, not top of the league. It was like, it's like, well, some people might say this, and it's like, I'm glad you asked that, Graham. Here's the question. Like, it's more kind of a structured kind of a conversation. Alan Shearer goes like, the net spend though, what about that? And then Andy explains that away. And then they go to Jermaine and just explain what Jermaine said.
Andy, we're obviously in an era. I mean, you mentioned that as fans you've not been heard for a large period of time. I think we're in an era now in the Premier League where many fans would be saying the same thing about the feeling towards their football club. What would you say are 2 or 3 key points, as to kind of what you want as Manchester United fans, just to kind of, again, just gain some understanding for myself and people watching?
Like, what exactly is going on, Andy? Really, break it down in like really simple terms for anyone like me.
Explain to me like, I'm 10. Explain to me like I'm 6. Like, oh man, it was funny. It's like, I'd love to be a pundit, man. It would be so easy. All you have to do is play football for 20 years, and then it's easy street.
Yeah. You can say what you like.
Oh, it was fun. Can you name 2 or 3 things for the people at home, and I guess for me as well?
To a man who's clearly been doing an interview for like 5 minutes, I would say, listing off things.
Yeah, he just had like it's on YouTube. Yeah, worth a look, because he Andy explains it well, and Jermaine Jenas just phoning it in. It's like, I'd rather actually talk about Tottenham because we won 4-0 today and Gareth Bale scored a hat-trick, so I was right about that, everybody. Can we talk about that for a second?
The big news.
Yeah. But it is kind of, like we were talking about the Super League that, Sky obviously have a vested interest in it. That's why the Gary Neville WhatsApp group thing, it's like, it's easy for Sky because they know that they're out of the running for a Super League or any kind of a change in the way it might go. So they're just trying to, keep the status quo as it is. But like, if you're a BT pundit and you go, yeah, Gary Neville's been on to there saying we should all have a united front and all have the same opinion on football. It's like, so we should all just take Sky Football's interests and put it on our show. Like, anybody, and I saw like on Twitter, like it's kind of 50-50. It's kind of the reaction to Neville's, sermons.
Well, I think he's oversaturated or overexposed.
Yeah,
he's just been showing too much. So now people are just like, it's the same shit every time. Like obviously he feels strongly and he's good at talking, but like if you're just a fucking casual watcher of football and you turn on Monday Night Football and you're like, oh my god,
yeah,
I just want to see the score of the game. I don't want to listen to this again.
Well, he has. Like,
I don't care about Man United.
He's like, you never see him on the tactics board anymore.
No, he is the man of the people.
He ascended from the tactics board. He's graduated from tactics board. So just riff with us, Gary. Just tell us what you think. What's on your mind? Show us the way of football. It's like, because obviously he works for Sky. He takes the Sky coin or whatever. But like, there's also the Salford FC stuff that, especially fans of lower leagues will say, he has a vested interest in the football pyramid and that he owns from the clubs in the football pyramid.
One of the clubs that's being fucking bankrolled to fly up the pyramid.
Yeah.
Like they're in League One already.
Exactly. So, I mean, you can't ignore that like, okay, so it's fine for you and your billionaire owner friend and the Class 92 syndicate or whatever to come in and propel Salford up the divisions. But
yeah, it's like, it's all right for me to put money in, but it's not all right for them to take money out. Like, well, it's both money. It's the same thing. They can do what they want. If you're allowed to do what you want, they're allowed to do what they want. Like,
and another thing, Graham's having some contract disputes because he was going full, psycho on Sky Sports, talking about like how.
Well, he works for other places. Like he works for RT sometimes, doesn't he? Or is it?
Has he worked there since?
He pops up in other places.
He works in Virgin sometimes. I don't think he's worked since Avon Duffy told him doesn't know what he's talking about.
Or since he called Torres a rapist.
A rapist?
Well, in a casual way. He said he was absolutely raping whatever defender, and then he went, "Oh, sorry."
A different time, Not raping in the sexual sense, raping in the, well, I guess in the sexual sense, but in an analogy sense. If you picture Liverpool, okay, cuz Mike. Yeah,
it was good that Keane, Carragher, and Neville were all on though, because like sometimes Neville's annoying that, but at least they kind of knew what they're like. They know the United sus. They kind of were talking sense.
Yeah.
And one thing they were doing that I thought was good, like Graham Souness was like, "Oh, they could have hurt someone," or like Graham Souness of all people being like, "There's no room for violence in football."
Oh, when they were throwing cans at fucking the cameras and stuff. Yeah.
He started a riot in fucking Turkey, didn't he? Wasn't that like his thing?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, the flag. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, he's older now. He's seen the light. He's, I mean, I did think that was kind of like he did. That's why I think he was playing the kind of like, what can I pick on here? Jeez, these boys are fucking thugs, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like, see how they messed up the Sky cameras. It's like, But he was talking. But that was his main point. That was like, look, they're the owners; they can do what they want. And then he was like, they've invested, loads of money. They've given managers money, which implies in a way that like they've given them money out of their own pockets. And it's like, well, that's money being generated by the club. So like, and then he's like, well, they could have taken it all.
While they take even more money out.
But they didn't have to give the money to the and I'll tell you what, I mean, you might have thought I wouldn't be able to manage it, but I have. I've managed to bring it back to Arsenal, and that, you think, they could have taken money out of the club and not invested in players, and then you'd be 10th in the league.
Yeah.
That's what would have happened. Like, it wasn't that they did have the good, no, we want to see the football club to succeed. It's like, no, this club needs to succeed for the club to continue making money.
That was how it worked for like 10 years. Was if they were out of Champions League 2 years in a row, they lost like hundreds of millions in sponsorship. So they would invest to get top 4, and then they wouldn't spend a penny. And then the manager gets sacked, and then they'd invest, and then they'd drop, and then it was just like that for years. It's only like the last few years with Ollie that's kind of sorted itself out. But that's their whole thing, is they're not.
Yeah.
It's not like let's make this club as good as possible. It's like, what is the least amount we can put in to make sure we still keep getting all our money?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And he was kind of saying this of like, look, they've given managers loads of money. They've spent, and the net spend is one that people talk about. But like, and again, like Arsenal is like, you think of, say, the money they spend for, obviously Paul Pogba is an obvious one, but like, say even like 25 million for Andrew Herrera. Like, they spend a lot of money on players. I think probably weren't worth all this money, but it's covering cracks. It's like, if you were doing it right, and Arsenal the same, that like, the club or the team is failing, it's going backwards, so you end up spending 70 million on Nicolas Pepe, who's not worth that. It's like, look, we're spending the money. It's like, but that's because you're fucking up everything else. You're fucking up.
It's just like a lazy, rather than putting effort into the club and getting a good scouting system or whatever, or good people in charge. It's just like, just throw money at whoever's available. If it doesn't work, who cares? Like, it's just it's another part of the whole problem. The money being spent isn't a good thing.
Yeah, that's it. We're just like spending money, like extravagant amount of money on players. And like the same Sky Sports said, might not spend, ridiculous money on players. They haven't bought well. It's like, and then you go, well, look, they're giving you money. What more do you want? It's like, and we're not talking about obviously the moral of the owners themselves, but you look at the city ownership, and people will mention all those times how they totally revamped the youth setup they had there in the youth teams.
Yeah.
The point where now
and the stadium and everything,
the point now where they're producing someone like Phil Foden. Like, someone like Phil Foden before the Man City money would have ended up in probably United's academy or Arsenal's academy, Chelsea maybe, slipped through the cracks. He'd be playing in like League One now. You know what I mean? Like, Man City have managed to revamp the whole structure that they can produce and keep players like that they come all the way into the first team. That's how you spend the money. So like, I think it's more like, because we do, and this is again, it's funny because maybe it's just that Graham Souness has been at Sky Sports so long that he relates everything back to transfer deadline day and how much money is spent equals good owner. Like, but that's funny as well, because like, obviously they were trying to fill time and they're just had nothing coming. So like, so who should United sign, lads? And then they go, Roy Keane, Harry Kane, wherever it takes. Like, this is the problem. And then it's like, I fucking get rid of Pogba. They were record free at one point. Get Grealish in the morning. I'd swap them right now. It's like, this is literally, you have done this. You're doing to stand up here and talk about how, the fans want change, enough is enough. And then you go on about transfers from players who don't like. I just think if you're an Aston Villa fan, like, what the fuck is this? Stop talking about Jack Grealish. Fuck
He's
off.
like a 5-year contract.
And you're just like, you should just take him because they can, because they're the biggest club, like. But then they talk about like redistribution of wealth and a more fair league, more balanced league. It's like, just fucking take their players, man. Take Harry Kane. Unbelievable stuff. Like, so I don't know. Is there going to be change over this? Like all the clips now of the Glazer protests, you'd forget about them. But like, there's ones from when the club was being taken over initially to, like we were saying, in 2010.
Well, fans were desperate to not let this happen, begging the Premier League to not let it happen. I think Fergie said he didn't want it at the time as well. But the Premier League was like, but sure, they're giving us loads of money. Why would this be a problem? They're like, oh, this is so bad. Because it could have gone much worse. Like, I remember I sent you the numbers today.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, they've taken $1 billion out of the club. It's cost the club $1 billion to have them as owners, and then they've also spent $1 billion on players from the club's own money. Yeah, and then they're the only club in the Premier League who pays themselves dividends at the end of the year, and they're massive ones. So it could have been worse if the club is worse run, or if it was a less successful club at the start. It could be like Portsmouth or Wigan or Leeds. It just plummeted down. They kind of got lucky that players were able to manage it, or Fergie was still somehow able to win a league with fucking Ashley Young and I don't know, Phil Jones.
Yeah, and this is what I say, like, that's, would you say that Arsenal are in a good situation? The Kroenke's taking out money and and trying to like do the bare minimum to get out. Because once like you try and do the bare minimum and you fail, it's like, oh shit, now we're 7th. Oh fuck, now we're 10th. Oh shit, now we're going to get knocked out of Europa League and we have nothing. And it's like, now how do you get back from that? It's like, you know, it doesn't really. Oh, they're investing money. Like I say, it's the dividends, and they pay more in the debts are still there.
The debts are bigger, I think, than they were when they bought the club. I don't know how that works.
All they're doing is paying the interest on the debts. So the debts are not going anywhere. They're paying more in debts than they ever will transfer fees. In case anyone wants to look up those numbers, like it's astronomical numbers. And Man United weren't in debt. That's the crucial thing.
They were zero in debt. Yeah.
When they bought them, they weren't in debt. And now they're using the Glazers are using the club to pay interest on to service their own debts.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like, again, on the face of it, you look at Sky Sports News or whatever, and you think, oh, signing, you know, players for 25 million every summer, save loads of money, and it's like, oh, my club can't even keep losing their players. So it's like, you know, I just think that punditry of like. It's lazy kind of attitude of like, oh yeah, fucking should have spent loads of money on transfer window. It's like, look it up. You know what I mean? The information is there. Like, if you
look up that one tweet I looked at today.
Roy Keane was surprisingly quiet enough on that. He wasn't like calling Graham on. He was kind of like a bit more.
Well, he wants a job, I would say. He never really calls out much about United apart from the players or the manager. But he never calls out the club, so I think he would like a job in the future.
Yeah, he didn't say anything that was like on a weekend that was all about the pundits. Very few Roy Keane clips floating around.
Yeah, he knew he's like, I'll just stick to my lane. But again, he's probably smarter than Souness. He's probably saw Souness talking and is like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Oh well, Souness has done that whole bit. He's been in clubs and gone to clubs. He's in punch like, this is my job. So I mean, let's fucking say something clip worthy here.
Well, it's funny you mentioned he was talking about like how clubs had to put up collateral.
Yeah.
Because I remember 2 or 3 weeks ago seeing him on Sky Sports News talking about the Super League, and he was saying these clubs will have to have put something up to enter this. Like, it's going to be interesting to see who has to pay what. Nothing. No one has to pay anything. So he just said the same thing again. I think that's just his only thing he has whenever something happens.
There was a week ago, like during the Super League, he was saying like, "Oh, I think it's time for the FSG to go." I think they've run out the wreck in this town. It's like, oh, but the Glazers are A-okay. You know what I mean? It's like the FSG who, like, you know, if you're talking about like not being top of the league, if that's what your metric for success is, like you won the league and the Champions League, but now it's time for FSG to go because it raised the stadium tickets a bit.
Yeah,
you have United Stadium crumbling around them.
There's a leak in the roof. There's no Wi-Fi in it.
But if they're top league, all would be forgiven. I just think, well, it's not, because you clearly don't want FSG around, and they won the league last year for you. So I mean, there's just no consistency from him. That's what I think. He's totally just trying to wind people up, and maybe Sky told him to do it. I don't know.
Even the whole United fans, they're just whinging because they're not top of the league.
Mm.
Of all the years to do this, if that's the case, it's not going to be now when they're comfortably in second, going into probably a Europa League semi or final, and Liverpool are behind them and everything. It would have been last year when Liverpool were fucking winning the league.
Yeah, I mean they're on the ascendancy, this United team. So
it means more now that they're protesting, because they're literally they're sabotaging the good they're doing. They're like, it doesn't matter.
And plus, it's like you're saying, all the clips from 2005, 2010, all throughout the successful years, and it's nothing to do with that. To say that it's about, they're spending money, they're just not winning, that's what they're mad. It's that's such a poor take. It's just so outdated. Do you know what I mean? It makes no sense, and it just shows a complete lack of understanding. And I say, not that I'd be well versed in stuff, but just take 5 minutes to look into it. Look into why people are mad. It's I don't know why people are protesting. It's well, then I find out. You know what I mean?
It's your actual job.
And this isn't trying to figure out the financial markets or economics. This is pretty simple stuff to try and just. But then to go on TV and go either fucking say the wrong thing, I don't know, man. I have no idea. I honestly don't care.
I'm annoyed you're asking me.
It's actually pretty unfair you would ask them, actually. You having to go with me? Yeah. Jermaine. I don't like Jermaine Jenas. I'll say it. You know, people think he's good, but like he always does this thing where he talks about fucking. I remember when Leicester won the league that time, and I think Mark Albright was having a good year, and he's like, "Yeah, I used to play in Aston Villa." I was like, "Did you? Did you?" No, you didn't, because I had you in fantasy back then. You went on loan for like I think it was like January. He went on loan, and they cancelled this because he was injured. They think he's cruciate, so they're like, all right, well, take him back to Tottenham or take him back to wherever he was because we don't want him Aston Villa. That's when he played. What he played. With Mark Albright. It's like you name dropping like a winger for Leicester who you barely trained with. You were in the physio room half the time. Like you just, that you could cut the whole thing. It's just a personal gripe, but like
Well, speaking of fantasy, imagine being like one of the boys at like the top 10 in fantasy football this year, where you have things planned out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing those protesters come in and you're like, oh no, I have fucking Salah captain. This is bad news.
Yeah, they're the real victims here.
Yeah. What about them?
When will the game happen though? I mean,
I don't know why it didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah, well,
like, why would that not be the case? Unless Sky have to broadcast it every day.
When they were shown on Sky, it was like, oh yeah, I'm at the. I don't know who was the fans came in and were out pretty quickly again.
Yeah, that was why they were in the stadium, because they were like, it's going to be quicker to let them in and through than have them block up everything.
Yeah, like it happened during the first game. Yeah, it happened to the Arsenal Newcastle game.
Yeah,
and by the time that game was over, the protests on the pitch were over. So they came in, they went out again. The guards were up, they went out again, and then like Sky kept showing these protests on the pitch. If it was still happening, like these are the scenes that happened mere hours ago. I was like, all right, it's done. And then it was like at the hotel, and it was like
the Lowry Hotel.
The Lowry Hotel there. I think they were blocking the road there. The blockades in the road. But there wasn't much going on there. Like because the police
they just blocked the bus. That's all. Yeah.
But didn't the police clear them at one stage as well?
Yeah, they did. But I think the reason the match, because some of the fans got into the dressing room or something like that, so they had to sanitize everything. I think that was like the issue.
Oh, the COVID.
But I think that was all. Yeah. I think that was done at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I think both teams wanted the player, said like, yeah, we're playing, but then the police stopped the game because I think that's why there's no point deduction, because it wasn't their choice, it was the police's choice.
Yeah,
because they're like, fans will come back, which I don't think they would have. They probably had their fun. They were done.
Yeah, if the fans come back, then can you ever play the game? Because the fans just come back again.
Yeah, so exactly. But that's why I don't know why they didn't play it yesterday. If you don't want the fans protesting, don't give them a chance to fucking organise. Yeah. Play the game at 12:30 the next day. Fucking don't announce it. Make the players go there early so they're already at the stadium. Fucking lock the stadium up. I don't know why they didn't do that. Because now, when the fuck are they going to play?
And that's the thing, where it's like Sky Sports had a game on afterwards, so we want to show that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where it's like, oh no, the game's been cancelled. It's like, why? Like, play it. You need to play it now. Like, this is the time to play it. Like, it is organized. Like, not even talking about the if it should be played or if the protests are right or wrong, but just from a purely kind of scheduling point of view, it's like there's no reason not to play that.
Like, I get you don't want to anger sponsors or whatever, but fucking slap a camera on and get Martin Tyler to talk. You don't need the punditry team and the tactics board.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it. Like,
well,
like that game's, they're going to play that game now 2 days before they all have another game, probably.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be like, well, fuck them.
Tack it on the end and just,
Yeah.
Like, but look, when you're paying 10 million a game, I think it's got 10 or 9 million a game that Sky are paying for this game. You want to get your fucking games on TV.
Well, that's why as well, I would imagine they were like, let Graham Souness fucking let them have it.
Yeah. I mean, honest to God, it was a total shit show on Sky Sports, but it was kind of like, I watched the first bit of it, and I was like dying for some other opinion on it. Because they had nothing planned, they're just kind of going raw at it. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
So between like Graham Souness' rants about how Rowan Bramwich is a proper football man, that was probably the highlight for me. Like, he's a football nut. It's like I say, I mean, you can look at the difference. He's not taking difference out. He's pumped money in. He wants to see them win. But like, is that right either? This is the issue. It's bad. Like, what is like? I think we all are like agree that like it needs some kind of reform. Like it is getting to the point of
the fans have no say or control.
Yeah.
And then when things go bad, the fans they're powerless. Like United have been protesting for years. Then they finally stop a game, and immediately on telly, people are like, Souness or fucking Shearer are being like, scumbags. What else are they supposed to do? The Glazers don't listen to them. Like,
yeah, it's you say, oh well, if you want to take the whole free market approach and like, oh, they own the club, but it's like, well, the fans are the customers, I suppose. So you're a customer product if you want to go down that route, and you've no say in it. It's like, what's the point then? If you, I don't know. I don't talk much on this, but like,
well, that game was going to decide if City won the league.
Yeah.
So they're probably raging.
Yeah, the
like City. How does that work? If United win all the rest of their games, but then that game is postponed till like a week after, do City not get to lift the trophy until that game is played?
Well, what is it? So it's like if City win 2 more games.
I think if
I
don't even think so. I think it's just if United lose.
If United lost, then they would have mathematically. So if City win the next game,
yeah, surely,
then they should just still win, shouldn't they?
I think so. Maybe.
I mean, look,
not sure.
I said it
they're winning
back
anyway.
in January that City were going to win the league, and I was right. I said Sheffield get relegated and City win the league, and I was right in saying that.
Well, when United get their fucking 12 points point deduction, my guarantee of Liverpool top 4 might be looking pretty good.
12-point point deduction, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, City's procession has been like stopped by a week, but they're going to win the league handily enough.
Yeah.
The real question is though, will they win the Champions League? I don't know.
It's impossible. You can't predict them in the Champions League at all.
They're playing Wednesday night, and we have Chelsea versus PSG. Chelsea versus Real Madrid tonight, Tuesday night. I'm still going to stick with my prediction of Real Madrid and PSG in the final. I think.
Yeah, I think Madrid, City probably.
Yeah.
Or I don't know though. It could be fucking any of them. They're all very good.
Yeah, those games are on tonight. We look at them. I'm gonna stick my original prediction. You're what, City PSG? You're thinking City
Madrid.
City Madrid. Sorry, City Madrid. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to go the other way, but those games are onto that. And then, of course, we have the second legs of the Europa League on Thursday as well. United would do very, very well to lose that game.
That'd be cause for protest in itself. Could you imagine? That'd be the ultimate bottling.
And then Arsenal, I think they could go through.
Yeah, I think they probably
Villarreal don't look great outside of Moreno.
Yeah,
Moreno looks very good, but I mean, Raul Albiol I couldn't believe he scored that goal. It's like the same Raul Albiol from before Madrid won Champions Leagues.
The Europa League is the cast of classic characters like Soldado in the last United game.
Yeah. It's real determined bastards who have been cast away by successful clubs years ago and are still just raging against the dying of life, playing with Granada, playing with Villarreal, playing with Besiktas or whatever it is, and no, I can still do it. I'll show you. And invariably they come against their old club. It's Francis Coquelin playing for Villarreal against Arsenal. It's like, oh yeah, the player we got rid of for Torreira and Xhaka.
Chris Smalling and Mkhitaryan against United.
Yeah.
As well. Also, a prediction of mine in the last episode of not having much faith of Chris Smalling in a European game. Bang on. He was it was a real reminder of what it used to be like for United.
Yeah.
He was at fault for 4 of the goals.
It was tough for him now. It was a very tough game for Roma fans and Roma players. I'd say if they were mad before, they were just depressed afterwards. So yeah, I mean, all bets would say that the smart money's on Man United to go to the final. The hopeful money's on Arsenal, but I thought it's going to happen. It's going to happen, isn't it? My United Arsenal final.
Yeah. Oh man, God, thoughts of it.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus.
A United in turmoil versus an Arsenal also in turmoil.
Yeah, like there's going to be mass protests either way. Like, it could be disaster for whatever American owner.
Well, that's why they're not letting the game play in England. That's why they're like, it has to be in Istanbul. We can't let them near this.
Yeah, damn. So yeah, we'll be looking at all those games this week, hopefully, and you know what I've started to do? I've started to, like, before the pandemic, I used to drink too much, like in a sitting. Now I've managed to just drink too much over the course of the week. Like
you microdose.
I'll microdose into the point I'm just like constantly drinking. It's like, oh well, Champions League tonight, but have a few pints. Oh, again, Europa League. I might get a few cans for that. Oh, geez, Friday, I might get a few cans, watch a movie. Oh, geez, by college, I might go out with lads to get a few pints. It's like just constantly drinking. Whereas before, I would.
My head hurts.
I mean, that's mouth's really dry. My mouth is really, really dry.
Anyone else a bit sad sometimes.
So yeah, I'm gonna. Last week, I think I've drank pretty much every single night through our Champions League, Europa League, and the bank holiday. I just was like in a semi-state of drugness. But this week, I'm gonna maybe try and just enjoy the games, really analyze the games, come back on Thursday or Friday with some hot takes from the week's Champions Leagues.
I'm gonna go do the Jenas route. I'm not gonna watch anything, look at anything, learn anything. I'm just gonna go in blind and then let you ask me questions and I'll just guess.
I'd be offended when I ask you. It's actually unfair because I'm not actually a Villarreal fan. So what the fuck would I know, Carl?
Jermaine Jenas is he's gonna be back in a punditry job next weekend.
Yeah.
How is that allowed? Surely there needs to be some kind of you have to know something, Jermaine.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I
watch the game.
I can't wait for the Euros now when he's going to be talking about someone like you don't know about Man United. How are you going to talk about Czech Republic's best player?
I'm definitely watching them on RTE or something. I'm not watching the fights.
Speaking of which, actually, good news for our boy Halil Akbanar. Potentially good news is that the European Championship squads have been increased from 23 to 26.
Oh, yes.
So he has added chance of being in there.
He has to be on it.
Well, his form has dipped in the last week.
Oh, no. Well, as soon as he got the news that he might make the team.
He has a bit of white line fever, does young Halil. They won the last 2 games. They're still in 10th, of course.
Of course.
They're still in 10th. I actually think it might be 9th on the exact same points, like goals scored, goals against, all that stuff. So technically 9th, 10th, same difference. Halil hasn't scored now in the last few. Jehovah just keeps us afloat these days. He had a bit of purple patch. He had a decent season last season. This season he's been very good. So, I mean, hopefully he can sneak in there in the 26th spot in the plane, perhaps. But looking forward to that.
In the boot.
Well, he would fit. Yeah, maybe he gets on in Ozan Kabak's luggage. I don't know. So yeah, some good wins for Ghost Step there in our bandwagon wheel special, but unfortunately he's still an outside bet to get to the Euros. But hopefully this news will give him a little bit more hope.
How many right backs do you think Gareth Southgate is going to bring now?
Oh yeah,
all of them.
Fuck, I mean, just want to piss him off. That has kind of cooled a bit as the games have got a bit shitter. It has really petered out this season. I've never seen a season. Maybe we were just paying closer attention than we ever have before, but it really feels like the games just are more meaningless than ever.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea,
it's done. Like,
because even when they were in, maybe it's because like the City, obviously, the league is wrapped up a long time ago now. And the European spots, they're still being competed for by West Ham and Chelsea, really. So when there's no Liverpool or Arsenal competing, there seems to be less coverage of us. It's kind of like, I mean, Chelsea might win, or maybe West Ham, but no one really cares about that.
There's no Super Sunday for West Ham trying to get top 4.
It just seems like they really have just dropped the ball on this. These protests, I mean, when the going gets tough for Sky Sports. A scandal is really needed because they're just not reporting on the league anymore. That the games are so meaningless.
They're just talking about they're still patting themselves on the back for stopping the Super League.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Did you see the music video they put up?
No. What?
Oh man, I saw it on Sky Sports News. It was like a compilation. It was like a 2-minute music video of like the whole story, but the whole story was all of the different clips of people on Sky saying it's wrong, and then the news breaking that it was cancelled. So it was very much a like, we did it. Oh yeah, I swear to fuck.
Oh fuck me! Like,
yeah, I'll link it to you.
It
might be under YouTube.
It's so transparent the way they do that, because you just know that they're not impartial observers. Like you have very much invested in, like, you know, like Sky Sports are a subscription based service, you know, where they don't even show all the games, and they're talking about like greed and football. I just can't stand it anymore. I mean, obviously the protests were good.
Talking about greed, and then not playing that United-Liverpool game yesterday because, well, where are we going to get our money from?
Yeah, and then the game doesn't go ahead for some reason.
The players are playing too many games. Yeah. Fuck off.
It'll never be sincere to me until they totally revamp their whole structure and then stop fucking charge so much for games. But like,
well, again, we talked about it when Neville ranted as if €1 per game on the phone was going to be bad. Sounds like the dream.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he put out a business model just far superior for the fans, anyways. And like, yeah, this is what they want to do. This is what they want to do to our beautiful game. Make it affordable for everybody.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Again, this season, it's just because there's no fans, and like, but yeah, this season is just wrapped up pretty quick. Even the relegation battle is done.
Yeah, the relegation is also done. I mean, Sheffield are mathematically down. I mean, there's now 9 points between Newcastle and Fulham.
Yes.
It's like, how did that happen? They were so close before. It was all like lined up to the...
As soon as the Super League happened, the season just finished. Games kind of just went in the background without people noticing, and it's just done.
Yeah. It just took a couple of weeks, a few 6-point turnarounds, and it was like, oh yeah, the relegation's over. Champions League is an outside bet for anybody outside of West Ham and Chelsea, and who gives a fuck about them? And Champions League is full of oligarchs and Arab nations trying to sports wash their global image. They're just like, oh fuck, this isn't very good. This isn't very good now at all, is it?
At least we have the Euros. That's always good.
Oh man. Yeah, I can't wait for the Euros.
And there'll be fans in all the games, won't there? Because that was the whole thing.
If it's in England, there will be, yeah. They had some test concert in Liverpool, like 5,000 people at a concert.
That looked
next weekend.
Unreal.
No, joining my Micah Richards impression.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very easy. Anybody can do it. All you have to do, I think it's like a self-help book, you know, like how to win friends and influence people. It's one of those little things that you do.
Tips.
Or like, ask me a question about something, and I'll answer as Micah Richards.
What do you think of the Glazer takeover of Man United, Micah?
Well, it's a complicated issue, isn't it? he says, he just goes, he makes you sound like you're agreeing with him.
That's genius.
Well, it's big in football, isn't it?
I was like, yeah.
It's like it's first like viral clip, you know, he bursts on the scene.
Yeah.
And he does that and he goes, well, I burst on the scene, didn't I? And then Roy Keane takes it as a sincere question, goes, did you? I don't think so. Defenders don't burst on the scene. And then he like instantly starts losing the rag and starts getting really loud and starts laughing. It's like, this is just like a little tick he has where he gets the room involved and like, I burst on the scene, didn't I? It's like, I never said that. I never agreed to that. You just said that. It's a complicated issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, no, isn't it? I mean, maybe it needs a bit of work, but for any listeners at home, next time you watch Micah Richards, he starts off the conversation and he makes you agree with him instantly. It's like, well, it's a big game, isn't it? It's bigger than football, isn't it? It's like, no, it's not. Like, just don't make me, like, you say your point, I'll agree with it. I'll decide if I agree or not. Micah Richards.
I asked the questions, Micah.
You saw the buying the fouls, but did you?
No, what was that?
when they were going the rant about like, oh yeah, you're not used to sign Jack Grealish and Harry Kane for 200 million or whatever it was, and they're like, yeah, no, Jack Grealish would fit it perfectly, and I think Jamie Carragher was like, no, like they don't need more attacking players, like they already have Pogba. And I was like, oh, I'd sell Pogba in the morning, and Mika's like, yeah, like he's one like the best midfielders in the country, like he's excellent at buying fouls, and Grimson goes, well, sorry there, Mika, what did you just say? He's like, buying fouls. Yeah, buying fouls. So you mean cheating? You mean simulating? That's diving. That's cheating. And he goes, no, it's not cheating. Cheating is like, rung above. Like, I just got really intense. And Roy goes, do you want me to step in here, boys? Do you want me to be the peacekeeper? It's like, because Micah Richards in his head, like he's the comic relief guy. He's the nice guy. Yeah. He's not there to get in a debate about diving, but like he just said it. It's like he couldn't explain why it wasn't diving. He just knew it wasn't. It's like, and he goes, "It's the modern game, isn't it?" And I was like, "No, it's not."
Stop asking questions.
I didn't agree to that. Stop making me agree. It's the modern game, isn't it? And Graham's just getting so wound up. It's so funny, man.
Graham's a bit angry, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to plug the socials and we'll get out of here?
We'll let you get out of here very soon, folks. Plug the social. No Nonsense Podcast, Instagram, No Nonsense Pod 1 on Twitter. If it's not that, it's very close to that. Something like that.
If you can't, it's in the description on this episode on Spotify. You can just click the link there. Yeah,
if you want to, just get real up in the podcast, follow all the social media.
Let us know. Do you like the show? Do you listen to the show? Who are you if you live in France? And how?
Who are you? Because we know you listen. We have a listener from France now. It may be using a VPN, perhaps. I don't know how that would work with Spotify, though. Can you do that with Spotify? I don't know. Point is that they, we could see that some listen in France, and we're not mad at you, right?
No, you're a legend. But who are you?
Just it's strange. Are you trying to learn English? If you're trying to learn English, and if we see a guy in a beret holding a baguette, speaking a Carlo accent, because you've learned English to this podcast. I say that if they don't learn English better than we learn anything else over here, but no, let us know if you're enjoying the show. If you think that I talk too much, that we'll get a word in. Let us know. We want it because I can think these things in my head, but when I get confirmation of them, I might change them. So, hit us up, DM us, whatever. And if you're enjoying the show, let us know.
Yeah, sweet.
Great. We'll be back Tuesday or Thursday or Friday of the European football special as always, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, good luck.
Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before.
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why? Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?